Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Okay, here we go. Super exciting for today's episode of The Culture Hack. We have George Katsimihas, the CFO of Exergy Solutions, on with us today. Hello, George. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining me.
Great. Thanks for having me, Adam. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, and I'm super pumped that Exergy is on here because my background is engineering as well. So we can talk some tech talk a little bit. But tell us about Exergy. What's the story behind Exergy Solutions?
Sure. Well, the tech talk might be a little bit slow on my end. I am an accountant, not an engineer, but I'll give it my best possible engineering frame of mind that I can give it. Exergy Solutions, we are a company that provides clean energy technology solutions to companies that are either developing technology, so entrepreneurs and startup businesses, or big industrial players trying to be net zero by 2030, 2050, whatever targets they set. And our skill set is the redefine what's possible. There's an internal term that we like to use, kind of fail fast. Right, and help companies get through their technology readiness levels and help them grow their ideas.
Amazing. I love that. And you started in 2015 and You've had some rapid growth since then. Tell me about that.
Sure. The company was founded by Billy Rideout and his wife, Vicky Lavoie, back in 2015. It's had some iterations as it's growing. And for the last several years, I'd say from 2017, 2018 to 2020, it had a really good, strong growth, right? Kind of 50% to 100% growth year over year. Good startup growth, being bootstrapped as an organization. It reached a level where it was going to be a scale-up activity, right? And so how does it get bigger, and how does it maintain its level of competitiveness in the marketplace? And just as importantly, how does it maintain its mission and strategy and culture of what got it to where it was today? And it started that journey in late 2019 into 2020.
Right. Okay. So you guys, it grows, and then at some point you're a victim of your own success a little bit, right?
Yep.
It's kind of bursting at the seams. Now the founder can't be one-on-one with everybody all the time on every project, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your experience. Like, what was that the biggest obstacle? Was it the amount of people, or were there other? How did you?
There's probably a couple contributing factors, including an individual like myself when I joined late 2020. How does a founder maintain its culture inside the business, where a small tight team, as you're growing, 5 people, 10 people, 15, 20 people, you're all working on the same spot, the same floor, the same corner kind of atmosphere, and as you're growing, you're starting to lose that capability. And so individuals like myself who joined, and others that maybe have come from bigger companies where everything was a process and written down, that level of readiness was a stumbling block for Exergy. How does it scale up? How does it grow up into that? Where's the consistency that you need, while still maintains its culture of nimbleness, agility? That's what it's known for, right? It's a very agile type of organization. It uses agile type of engineering work. But again, how does it institutionalize some processes to scale up? And those can smash together at times.
Mm-hmm. Right. Your best intention is to write things down and get some consistency. And then all of a sudden it makes something rigid that was really nice and flexible before. Right.
Those two words, rigidity and inflexible, can creep in awfully fast if you're not careful, when your culture's all about fail fast, redefining what's possible, that type of agility and agile engineering. They don't necessarily mix very well if you're not careful.
Right. And we talk about processes. I think sometimes what happens is you write a process with the best intentions, but it comes out looking like a legal document, very rigid, very
constraining.
Right, constraining.
Yeah.
When what you meant to do was create something that allowed for innovation, right? Had spaces where, like, hey, if this happens, like, it's okay to change this or modify this or skip this or whatever, but here's what you should do. Make a risk-based decision, whatever, right? Like,
That's a very good point, Adam. I think internally and externally. So obviously, when we work with small startups or entrepreneurs with great clean energy technology ideas, they're accustomed to working fast. Documents aren't picture perfect, and probably have loose ends everywhere. But you're both, you just want to get it done, right? Get it done. Give me the technology, or help me advance my technology at the cheapest possible, and move forward, right? Where you start to look at industrial players that have big processes behind them and legal teams and document supply chains, it becomes a challenge to do that, where the documents that, Adam, you have a great idea and you could be an internal entrepreneur in a large organization developing some technology, but you can become constrained by your own internal processes working with Exergy, when all of a sudden we're, accustomed to working with a 4-page document and you lob over a 40-page document. Or like,
Right.
whoa, how do we manage this? How do we give you what you want in an agile, fail fast, get it done, minimal viable product, so you're very happy, so you don't burn budget, yet adhere to all these processes that are constrained? That can happen internally as well as you're growing. Like you said, you create an employee handbook. We created our first employee handbook in middle of 21. Right? And you're sitting there going, it never had one for the longest period of time because people knew what to do. Now you go through it going, well, okay, it's telling me to do this, but that's not exactly what we're doing. And what we're doing is actually better, right? And you're going, okay, how do you adjust that? And you lose that flexibility. And, if you don't mind me saying, sometimes it loses the fun out of it. And you're going, no, we got to figure out how to pull that back.
Right. And I think it's always fluid. It sounds like in an agile, fast-paced innovation, creativity is happening, right? You might make a process and then, within a few months, it has to be changed again, right? It's never like check, done, on to the next one, right? It's forever like this moving target that you're kind of chasing, and, it can be daunting, I think. Right?
It's kind of like you're working at Exergy, Adam. Exactly from that perspective, and internally and externally, we see the same challenges when we work with clients and customers, because the scope of work that they want to get done is forever changing, because it's fluid. They're getting new ideas and they're excited and happy, and we can help them. It happens internally as well. We just want to get this done and move fast and get on to the next project. And and the document is it's people say, well, it's stale dated as soon as you hit final. Well, sure, that's true, but big companies, they're good for years on end because you just follow the process. Within us, as we're growing, and we ebb and flow between employees and contractors, sometimes we need a very specific skill set, so we go into the marketplace and get it for 6 months to help the customer deliver a project, back and forth, and people are coming and going. How do you maintain that level of consistency and making sure everyone is fully engaged? That is hard to do.
Right? It's a real magic trick. You say like engineering's hard, but like engineering's, you can design stuff, you can build stuff, but then you sprinkle people into the mix. It's like, right?
Yeah.
So how do you build that team that's super excited and super innovative and is going to bring that magic that Exergy is known for without burning them out, or making them feel whiplash so that like they don't know exactly what they're supposed to be doing or not doing, right?
It's you took a word right out of my mouth, magic. When you draw people into the equation, it could be very, very magic, and you're going, wow, how do you maintain that level of high engagement and excitement and wanting to get things done? It's really hard to do it, and we haven't solved it completely yet, right? We're trying to figure out how to grow. We didn't grow as fast as we thought we could, and we're trying to see how the market is responding to us. Lots of positive momentum. We won in some areas, didn't win in some other areas, and we're trying to understand what that does. And with the people that we bring on board, how do we make all that mix together? And people look at us and when they join us here, and they're having a lot of fun working with us. But then at the same time, you're going, okay, we got to follow these types of processes, and how you're doing that, and what are people working on, and you want people to be working on different things, and they get excited. So there's lots of magic that can happen, and you definitely don't want to bottle that up. You don't want to contain it, because that's not what Exergy is about. It's about understanding what could happen, not what will happen. Right. And it's trying to do that for its employees and for its customers.
Yeah, and that's what your clients love you for, right?
Yep. Yeah.
to imagine for that magic sauce. And in terms of your plan going forward to constantly be addressing this stuff, you mentioned something really interesting about bringing marketing into the mix in terms of how you're looking for that niche market. So I'm really curious how that plan is unfolding.
Yeah. Well, I think what was a big opportunity for me, or sorry, learning from me, was I follow Roger Martin online quite a bit, and he has a saying that sales marketing is strategy. And to understand that conceptually, when Calgary's a dominant oil and gas services, and that you don't have a lot of sales strategy when it comes to your commodity-based business, your price taker. On the other side of this is from technology consulting, engineering, design solution, and you're trying to provide a service to someone. It's very important to understand the marketing aspect of what you can bring to the table, right, for customers. And I sometimes joke and say, we're the Apple iPhone of clean energy technology, that we're trying to bring that awareness to people in the industry to say we need Exergy, right? And I think we can get there, and that's the marketing aspect of it, is saying how do we market ourselves, how do we take our brand to that next level. And all that will really do, I think, should ultimately enhance our engagement with people, because they're part of the story, they're part of the ride. And once you're on that, sure, it's a roller coaster, but I don't know about you, roller coasters can be a lot of fun.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
they go up and down, right? And so hang on, right? Get the seatbelt on and let's go for a ride, right? And that type of fastness in this industry from a clean energy technology in energy, generally speaking, is not something that moves that particularly fast, right? And so that marketing aspect is important to show the world what we can do, what any of these clean energy technologies can do, not just us.
Yeah, I think I love how you get on storytelling, right? If you go on the roller coaster, right, sometimes the best part of it is telling the story after, like, whoa, my face was like this, and like,
yeah.
right? And we talk about, when we talk about engagement specifically, there's like internal storytelling, where you're sharing the stories of all these amazing acts of heroism that are going on in your company, whether it's client facing or process building or whatever. And then externally telling the world about how awesome all the things you're doing, which is where tools like social media can be very, very useful, and that kind of stuff, right? That is incredible. I love that you have this kind of all-encompassing picture of the word strategy. And I feel like we could talk about this for hours. But I wrote down a couple ideas here as I was talking, in terms of like some fun things that I feel like your team might. Have you guys ever done like a Dragon's Den style like innovation pitch thing internally with ideas?
No, we've just started that process. I think it was always happening kind of internally, but we created an ideation team. It's still at its infancy stage, but we're trying to encourage people. We're considering about intellectual property, how we get that off the ground, to give people the opportunity that their ideas and contribution is going to create value, tangible, intangible, but they're part of that process. And so the ideation framework, the intellectual property type of framework, we're really at its infancy stage, but we see that as a key process to keep people engaged and working. And when they have some downtime, their ideas are contributing to the company and themselves.
Perfect. I love that. That's that, when they talk about Google, that 20% you can use to whatever. I did a team building once where it was cool. I was like building a wall out of blocks, like with all the different groups, but the groups were separated into like manufacturers who had to like make the blocks, and then people had to transport it, and then people had to assemble it. But they were given metrics that were specifically designed to kind of break the flow of the teams working together. And then the teams had to do it, see that it wasn't working, and then they had to figure out how to change their metrics and measuring so that they could work together. Anyway, it was really cool to like add something like metrics and strategy into a fun team thing, and prove a point. Right? Super cool.
No, not easy to do, but it can be done. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this has been just super eye-opening, and I can feel the energy coming from from Exergy, right? The name
Perfect.
literally means like to do work.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's the basis of it. Billy Rideout is an engineer by trade, and
Yeah,
there's a definite thought process and underlying message with the company name for sure.
I love that. That
Yeah,
is amazing. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time and
for
for
sure.
sharing some of your ideas. I hope that people are watching maybe spark some ideas or innovation for them.
Yep.
And just last question for you, George. Is there any other companies or entrepreneurs or people out there that you think would be great to have on the show to share and keep the conversation going?
I think from my perspective, there's a lot of organizations in Calgary that could probably benefit that because they see these types of organizations scale up or start up, whether it's Platform Calgary, Thin Air Labs, those types of organizations, because they see so many
Mhm.
that they might be able to, add value in that space. Even internally, we have a couple of people have started up their own. The contractors with us have started up their own innovation, right? And we're hoping they can, go for the big growth and get their technology to hit a home run. And so, I can see if they're interested in something like that. But I think there's so many great organizations in Calgary that can see so much of this could benefit from their discussions, what they see.
Okay, perfect. Well, you heard it here. There's George Katsimihas from Exergy. We really appreciate it, George, and thanks
For
a
sure.
lot.
No, thanks for the time, Adam. This is great. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching the Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.